his opponent from Team USA is one of the
Really important game for the defending champions is Alison Fisher alongside Michael McMullen.
In the last 21 Mosconi Cups, only once has a team been behind after day 2 and turned it around to win. And if Corey Deuel loses this match, then the USA will be behind at the end of day 2.
Yeah, we've seen some great pool tonight, full of drama, lots of good play, unlike yesterday. And lots more break and runs, making balls on the break. So let's see what this match looks like. I'm really looking forward to seeing Fedor play, especially in the singles in the Mosconi Cup, his debut against Corey Deuel, very, very experienced player, twice his age, more than twice his age.
Well, you know, it was the 14th of December 2000 when Corey Deuel first played in the Mosconi Cup. Teamed up with Earl Strickland to beat Steve Knight and Steve Davis by 5 racks to 2. It was in the same year that Fedor Gorst was born.
Making everyone feel old here, Michael.
Well, not Fedor Gorst, he certainly isn't.
He's a spring chicken, isn't he?
As you were when you played in the Mosconi Cup 26 years ago, Alison.
All right.
They said it's his first singles. Well, his first doubles was certainly a memorable one last night as he banked the 9 ball to complete that win with Joshua Filler.
Yeah, that must have been a great feeling for him. We see he broke the balls and he has a shot.
Yeah, and in that doubles win last night, Corey Deuel was in the other corner then with Shane Van Boning. I've said many times he's the only debutant on the European team this year, but he was also the only automatic qualifier. He was top of the European Mosconi Cup rankings, which were in their embryonic stage when tournament play was suspended in March. And it was decided to pick only one player off the rankings because there have been so few tournaments. All the others have been picked.
You know, he may be young, but he is full of experience and a world champion, both at junior level and open level.
Yeah, it was around this time last year. Beat the Coe brothers in the quarter and semi-finals respectively, and then Chang Yong Lin in a grueling final by 13 racks to 11. Didn't get the chance to defend it this year, but I guess that means he gets to end another year still as world champion.
Does that count as 2 times world champion?
No, unfortunately not, Alison.
Well, that didn't pop out of the rail as expected there. He had quite a bit of speed, but maybe caught it a little bit too thick. Obviously, he didn't want that thin of a cut on the 7 ball. The only good part about this is if he does go for it and make it, it's a natural position to the 8.
I heard you talking to Phil earlier about the really low number of break and runs we've seen so far in this Mosconi Cup. Looks like we're going to see one here in the opening rack.
Well, this is a little tester here. Let's see how he's queuing. Nice shot. Oh, he's left a tricky little 9-ball. Would have liked that to have come back a little further there, but nevertheless, being at the table is the most important thing. And a thin cut into the side pocket here.
Yeah, not what you want in the very first rack. But no problem for him, and Fedor Gorst very quickly leads Corey Deuel by 1 rack to 0.
Did you notice how calm he looked coming out?
He's absolutely loving this.
He was winking at the camera, wasn't he?
Well, we were all like that when we were 20 years of age, weren't we? You're not scarred by life at that stage.
Now we squint at the camera.
You could even see it, though, in the days leading up to this, how much he was enjoying being around the other players, older than him, much more experienced than him. They've all experienced the Mosconi Cup before. He's absolutely thriving on it. And we've seen other players, even ones who've gone on to have very good Mosconi Cup records, the first year or two, they look a bit like a fish out of water. Not him at all. And let's be fair, when you're world champion, why should you feel that way?
Well, he's having all these great experiences so young.
Yeah, and he was just hitting his stride, of course, as I say. He was top of the early Mosconi Cup rankings. He'd just won the World Championship and then got cut off in his prime, really, with what's happened with COVID this year. So he's been absolutely champing at the bit to get back out and taste some of that big arena action again.
The second rack, USA to break, trailing 1-0.
Now, Corey is known for being a bit of a master of the break shot, so let's see if he's figured out what to do on this table here. Well, as I said, it couldn't be better than that. He got kicked down the table, the cue ball there. He lost the cue ball a little bit, it went forward, but it got kicked back up, so...
Not only a master of the break-off shot, Allison, but a real student of it. He spends a lot of time thinking about it. He says he has a number of different ways to break and gets to a tournament and tries to figure out which is the best one.
Yeah, they're all like that now. Jason, Shane, they read the rack really well, but as we know in this event, you're not allowed to go and inspect the rack or do anything. You're not involved with the rack at all, so you're kind of just having to watch your opponent, watch the other players in their matches and figure it out from there. Oops, that was a mistake. Landed too close to the 5-ball there.
And just when it was starting to look as though we would see a break and run being responded to with another break and run, he's run into trouble.
He was trying to play behind the 8-ball there, but he sort of took it very quickly. I don't know if that's a little bit of nerves, but he hit it hard and quick, but he was trying to check the cue ball up behind the 8 2 rails, and it got away from him there, and he's left Fedor a cut shot on the 4-ball. 5-ball, sorry. Europe looking on eagerly, but I'm sure they're quite relieved to have this nice lead of 5-2. Yeah, he played that with a lot of left English, inside English.
Well struck.
And didn't really strike through the ball there with the speed needed, I don't think. He caught it a little thick.
Yeah, and now that he's been given ball in hand, this is a chance Deuel has really got to take here. Stop this young Russian from running away from him early on.
Yeah, Corey would be delighted with that. Just to get his feet wet and be a bit more relaxed. So his cue can do the talking. Nicely done.
Yeah, and with that, Corey Deuel who looked to have left Gorst a very good chance to go 2-0 up, has instead got back to the table and levelled at 1 rack apiece. He's sort of like the opposite of you, Alison, because you famously made the crossover very successfully from snooker to pool. Well, he tried to go the other way, did win the US National Snooker Championship and played in the World Amateur Championship, but in several attempts to get onto the professional snooker tour, he never quite made it. I think trying to make the transition that way from pool to snooker has got to be much harder than the other way around.
Absolutely, a lot more difficult. I admire the fact that he did try, but as we know, over in England, over in Europe, rest of the world that plays snooker, you know, a lot of average club players are knocking in great breaks now, so it's very, very difficult to compete.
There is a little bit of an American heritage in professional snooker. Jim Rempe made a little bit of an impact back in the 1980s. In fact, one year he made the first century break of the qualifying rounds of the World Championship.
Europe the break. Scores 1.
King James, as he's known. Hello, Jim, if you're watching. He's going to be disappointed with that break. He hit the wrong side. He hit the... You could see shaking his head there.
First dry break of the match, and he's left to look at the 1.
And the cue ball was dangerous there.
He's been sort of in and out of the Mosconi Cup team in the 20 years since he made his debut. Wasn't supposed to be in it this year, of course, but got the call up just last week after Justin Bergman's positive test. I asked him on Monday how he had dealt with that, having to prepare for such a big tournament at such short notice, and he said he's been practicing 8 to 10 hours a day, so he feels well ready for it.
Well, it's a bonus, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's a bonus getting that spot. So you've got to almost take the pressure off yourself.
Well, we've seen how that can work so often in sport. You think of John Daly starting the week as 9th alternate, ending it as a major champion at the PGA 30 years ago next summer. Denmark famously winning the European Football Championship the year after that, having only got a very late call up when Yugoslavia pulled out. So sometimes, as you say, you can see it as a bonus. There's less pressure on you in an event you didn't expect to be part of, and you can thrive in those circumstances.
Extension, please.
He's left himself tricky here. I mean, he could just play the 3 forward and land behind the 9, but it's a little touchy. Or he could play it a little more speed and leave the cue ball on the back rail. And that's what he's gone for, trying to get both balls safe. Probably didn't want the 3 ball to head towards that pocket as much as it has, but he's left Fedor with a jump shot here. He'd have to catch it thin to make it, but it'd be a natural position. Nice shot. He hit it a little thicker than planned. And has he got a shot? See how he just caught it a little bit thicker, and the white ball came out wider there. And now I've got to see if he can get through this gap, which he can. Looks like he can, the way he's cueing it. No. Yeah, that was a little lazy, I would say, on his part. He needed to catch that a little bit differently because he was trying to play the cue ball down behind the 9. So he's going to be a little disappointed with that. Nevertheless, it is quite safe unless Corey comes with a great bank or a good safety. On for the safety, caught it thick. And that's what happens. It's a game of millimetres. He caught that too thick there. And got punished.
So having been pegged back to 1-1, Gorst with a real chance here to quickly re-establish the lead.
Now, does he have to play a combo here, or does the 7 go by that 8 ball?
I'd say the combination.
Yep, we can see it on the overhead now. But he's played a very nice speed with that shot. That's almost inch perfect, I'd say. Ooh, just at the legs. But that was all about holding the 7 ball in place too. Nice shot.
Been such a good night so far for Europe. And it's just another step in the right direction for them here. Fedor Gorst regains the lead over Corey Deuel at 2-1.
Do you let others decide what makes a believer? Confident.
Welcome back to a second night which is proving every bit as intriguing as the first at the Party Poker Mosconi Cup. 2 hill matches to start with. Jason Shaw involved in both going his way. The singles first and then the doubles with Joshua Filler. Fedor Gorst looking to make it a hat-trick for Europe at the start of the night's play, and he leads Corey Deuel 2-1.
Thank you, Corey.
Back in the arena.
Yep.
Looks like Corey's up for the break.
Thank you, the fourth break.
And a big rack for Corey here.
USA to break. Trailing 2-1.
Still at the table, but not a great shot on the one ball here.
Yeah, so probably not for much longer. Recently turned 43 years of age, so oldest player on the team. He's been around the Mosconi Cup so long, he can actually draw an experience of playing in triples matches, which aren't part of the tournament anymore. But he played a couple of them back in 2006 in the tied match and won them both.
Yes, good to take a shot, please.
He just played a bit of a two-way shot there, and it was trying the bank, I believe, and I think he's left Fedor a shot now. A combination.
Call.
You get the sense that one day we'll be talking about Gorst in the same terms that we now speak about Deuel as an experienced Mosconi Cup player. I just feel this is the start of a long career as part of the European team.
Do you think we'll be in the commentary box then?
Depends how well we do this year, Alison. So far I'd say we're a shoo-in.
What, a foot in the door?
Yeah, put it that way.
That was a nice shot. Look at that. Jump shot, combination. But not only that, has got a shot on the one ball. Very nicely played.
Not a huge Q Sports tradition in his home country of Russia, but he isn't actually the first Russian to play in the Mosconi Cup. Konstantin Stepanov featured in Las Vegas back in 2007 and did really well, got a couple of wins in the doubles. Did lose to Shane Van Bonen on the final day, but only 6-4, and he ended up as part of a winning European team.
You know, just looking back on that two ball, that was a really... He's got a really nice technique, Fedor, really solid technique. And I know that he works with Johan, who has been on the involved with the Mosconi for many years. And they had goals last year of him being world champion and making the Mosconi Cup team. So they achieved those goals. Now he's got to create some more.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you become world champion at the age of 19, it's like, where do you go from there? What's the rest of your career going to be like? But as problems go, it's a very, very nice one to have.
Well, I think maybe 20 world titles has a nice ring to it.
So speaks a relentless accumulator of titles across many decades.
Yep, still here. Just about. Now he's playing more to his form. This is some nice technique, nice cueing. And I'm hoping to see more of this from Fedor.
He's making this Mosconi Cup look very easy. Playing very nicely now and leading the vastly more experienced Corey Deuel by 3 racks to 1. Let's rewind a bit, Alison. How did you meet Snoop Dogg?
Oh yeah, that was in Las Vegas, funnily enough. It wasn't at some weird party. It was I was doing an exhibition for Ford Motor Company, and suddenly I think he was something to do with it. He was creating a Ford car, and while he was there, I said, "Oh, can I get a picture with you, please?" And they made that happen, and very nice. Seemed really nice.
Did he know anything about pool, or did you get into that?
I didn't really get into. I didn't float my own boat there, you know. I didn't want, you know. He did know I was a pool player. I should have given him my card or something, shouldn't I?
Who knows what it could have led to, Alison?
We don't know. We'll never know, will we? Unless he's watching. Or maybe by the 6 degrees of separation, somebody knows him.
Well, that could be the start of something. Anyway, from Snoop Dogg to Fedor Gorst, who has the lead by 3 racks to 1 here. And as I was saying, Europe with a chance to seal the overnight lead already with 2 matches still to play.
Thanks.
Yeah, I tell you what, they had a really good lineup today. And obviously a big start with Jason beating Shane in the fan pick.
Yeah, we know it's a really, really strong European team, and I think we're really seeing that come through today.
So Fedor up to break now. He just took advantage of Corey's mistakes. So he made the 1 ball, not really got a shot on the 2, but he does have good safety options here. Lots of good safety options. Just take your pick time. I like possibly pushing the 2 over to where the 3 is and playing the cue ball around by the 8 ball. Or he can go off the side of the 2, which he was looking up, standing at the other end of the tape. No, I think he's doing that. There you go. That's a nice lock-up safety. Look at that. Nicely played there.
He's really got every facet of the game, hasn't he, Alison? We know how good he is when he gets the chances to break and run and play that side of the game, but he can certainly mix it tactically.
Well, and also at the end of the day, you're looking at the mental edge. To the fact that he's won world titles, he's obviously very mentally strong. And that's what it takes. You know, a lot of the percentage of this game is in the head.
Foul stroke, ball.
See, he's just created an opportunity there. Corey's going to be disappointed to have missed that, but he did have him in a really good safety there. And you know, it's interesting when you watch players, because they're either talkers or they're not. They're either there internally on their own, you know, within the match, or they're talking to their teammates. And I would say the talking to the teammates, you're either trying to relax yourself or you're not focused enough. Corey's still shaking his head a little bit about that shot.
Yeah, he must feel he's just not really got a foothold here. Hasn't been able to get any rhythm going at all, whereas Gorst is the exact opposite.
Well, to be honest, I felt like Fedor, if he could get rolling and get on his game, that on paper he is the stronger player, and he's proving that right now. But it just started off a little shaky, and now he's getting in the groove a bit.
It's the only match that Deuel is playing today. If it continues in this vein, he'll feel like he's hardly featured in the day 2 action.
And it's you think it's nice coming up for the singles, really, because you get a chance to, you're not having to think about a partner, or you can get a chance to really play some games in a row, shots in a row. But he's really being frozen out now by Fedor.
Yes, and it's turning into a really accomplished performance now. Just seems to be growing stronger and stronger as the match goes on. And Fedor Gorst very quickly is on the hill. He leads Corey Deuel 4-1 as he looks for Europe's 6th point already at the Ricoh Arena. I guess for someone like Fedor Gorst, Alison, he's made such a great start to his career, already got that world title under his belt, but the big test for him, which will define his career, is maybe in a few years' time when he's a bit more battle-scarred. He's had a few high-profile disappointments, as he's bound to at some stage, and then it's a question of how he responds to that.
Absolutely. You've got to stay in the present, I have to say. Mentally, you have to stay in the present, because you're going to have bad tournaments, for sure. And you have to dismiss them and learn from them and correct the mistakes and just work harder. And, yes, true experience over the years. He's going to, like you said, have some battle scars. It's nice when you're young and you start off on the right track and get on a roll. But there will be tough times. But I feel like he's a type of player with the stroke that he has that will overcome that very easily.
Break. Trailing 4-1.
Corey Deuel needs to pull out something big here. 4-1 down.
Well, it's an uphill battle now, just because of the amount of disparity in the frame score. And he's losing that cue ball a bit on the break. Twice he's gone forward. See how that cue ball's, he's not hitting it low enough, or not hitting the one ball correctly. You know, at this standard of play, when you play safe like that, you need to lock them up against the ball. You know, he's given Fedor a chance at a jump shot again. Not easy, but he's choosing to kick, which is probably the right shot to play because he's quite close to the 4-ball there.
Deuel just doesn't look settled at all. He looks completely ruffled by what he's up against here, and I guess in a sense it's very hard to settle when you barely get on the table.
Yes, definitely. But the way he's talking with his teammates behind, that just shows maybe a little bit of a lack of composure. Whereas Fedor on his face looks comfortable now, doesn't he? Looks very relaxed.
Corey Deuel, two-time MVP in the Mosconi Cup. First won it in only his second year.
That was a great shot he played there. He was elevated over the ball and he came with a really good shot. So let's see if he can run this out and get some rhythm going here.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? He needs to not only win this rack, but win it well. Halt Gorst's momentum, get some of his own behind him. He won MVP very early on in his Mosconi Cup career, 2001. He was on a losing side for the first time the following year as Europe won at Bethnal Green. And then he was out of the team for 4 years, but when he came back, he won 7 out of 8 in the tied match in Rotterdam and was MVP again. He's looking to emulate Earl Strickland by becoming only the second American to be most valuable player 3 times. But such thoughts must be a long way away at the moment for him. Beaten in the doubles last night with Shane Van Boening. And right up against it here.
When you play this game, you have to love pressure. It's a tough game because you're out there on your own. And what you're thinking is a big part of it.
There we are, Jeremy Jones, the American captain, with Shane Van Boening looking on very intently. Emily Fraser of Matchroom joining in the discussions. She's European. What's she doing in the American camp?
I don't know. She's probably creating trouble.
Extension code, please.
Oh, he's left himself really tricky now. Because if he tried to get behind the 8, it's a double kiss. So I think maybe just play it to the top rail, or play it a cross side to safety. He's got that option. There we go. He did the cross side. Very good. Good shot. But it is an easy kick for Fedor. But that's all that Corey could play.
Yeah, and it was a good shot, but as we were saying, he needed to try and get a bit more momentum behind him there. Win a quick rack. Show Gorst, okay, I'm still in this here, and if you make mistakes, I'll be capable of punishing them.
Yeah, this is an easy kick. He can come behind it and knock it to the side rail and long rail, or possibly make it in the side. But he did try to make it, I think. But he's played it at a good speed. Look at that. He's left Corey a shot, thin cut, tricky. His speed was almost good, not quite enough. But this is a tester. That was a great shot. Great shot. Let the cue ball go around the table for a shot on the 8 ball, and I'm sure Corey will be relieved to get this rack under his belt.
Yeah, and he'll be feeling a good deal better now. He's played a couple of good shots, outstanding ones really, in this rack. And he's still in there. Corey Deuel hanging in against the much younger world champion Fedor Gorst. It's now 4 racks to 2.
We saw a lot of momentum changes yesterday from big leads, didn't we? So it's not impossible.
Well, it all started with that team match, of course, and we saw it even in the first match tonight. One side looking to be in a strong position, and then it all turns around. So yeah,
anything can happen.
Yeah, and look, in race to 5, where it's all good players who are capable of beating each other, you're never out of it.
No, and that's where the mindset comes in, to always be present, always be there and ready. The worst thing you can do is stew in the chair and then the opponent misses and you're not ready mentally to get back up there.
Gorst still in a strong position though with that 4-2 lead, and he's got the break in rack 7.
Thank you to 7th rack. Europe to break, leading by 4 racks to 2.
Still 2 matches to come after this. We'll be reverting to doubles. There's Shane Van Boning and Billy Thorpe in the background practicing, because they'll be playing together against Eklund Kachi and Albin Ocean. And then last match of the night will be Jason Shaw against Thorpe, who'll be staying on for that one.
Well, the way he broke there, I think that will be the end of this match. That one ball stuck over the pocket there. See, it wanted to go in, it sort of went around the pocket and stayed over, and he's got a really nice out here. Just got to make sure he gets on the 3 ball, which should be easy from here.
Yeah, we've seen so many times that a rack looked to be over and then there's been an unexpected error.
Yeah, he's not really... It's the sort of rack you can't really go wrong.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, he's in a different situation because it's been a bit scrappy and a bit error-strewn in some of the other matches, but he's got so much rhythm behind him. It really is hard to see anything other than a 5-2 win being completed here. And it's turning into a pretty good first Mosconi Cup for him. He won that doubles last night.
He's got a very disciplined approach, and I'm sure that's himself, the way he is, and also Johan working with him. You know, practicing drills for hours on end. You see him on social media, and sometimes he posts live stuff. He's got a very, very good technique. And I remember Mark Wilson mentioning him to me at the Atlantic Cup Challenge. He was playing in the junior side, and he said, "You watch this guy, he's got a really good technique."
That could have gone a bit better though.
Yeah, I don't know if the rails are playing that great. I'm not really sure. I can't really tell, because he seemed to hit it hard, but nothing really happened. It sort of died. I still expect him to make the shot though. This rack's turning a little bit, isn't it? A little trickier, but again, this is a shot he'll make 9 out of 10 times. Nice cut on let the cue ball do the work there. It didn't open up as wide as probably thought and go around the back of the 6, but nevertheless, he has a nice little shot into the corner. I think he's wanting to finish this match off right here.
Well, we said Deuel will feel like he's hardly been involved in the day 2 action. Gorst might feel much the same actually, because this is the only match he's got today, and it hasn't taken very long, but he won't mind one bit. He will be absolutely delighted with this. He's won against a very experienced player. Really, he's looked more assured and composed than any of the older and more experienced players we've seen over the last day and a half. What a night this is turning into for Alex Lely. and his European team, the challengers in this Mosconi Cup, looking to avert an American three-peat. And they've had a three-peat of their own at the start of the night. They've won all 3 matches so far. Fedor Gorst beats Deuel by 5 racks to 2. Europe lead overall